Hello guys, how are we doing? Hope everybody's doing fine today. It's Saturday, September 21st, I believe. And yeah, it's gonna be a rant, it's gonna be a real rant, this video. Um, Sometime, when I'm gonna express, just getting so blocked speaking because always so much in my own mind, in my own head. But yeah, just, I start with, I was doing a video, I believe it was 2 days ago, but it just disrupted, or it didn't work. For some reason, my phone just was maybe the connection or whatever, it didn't work. And hello guys, hello. How are we doing? Hey Anita. Hi. Yeah, so I was doing a long live about all these topics that I wanted to share about, but for some reason it just disconnected, and I had to give up. I gave up. So let's see if it will be better today. It's an amazing day today. I'm back now in Sweden for 2 weeks, exactly 2 weeks. Why am I showing there again? Yeah, 2 weeks exactly today. And it's been a great summer and everything. It's been just awesome. I've been having a great time in Portugal, and it feels great to be back. And I know it's going to be a very difficult moment now coming, because my classes didn't start yet, but they will in about 2 weeks, which is great. Hey Anita. That is great that I have this coming up for me. To get into it is going to be very, very difficult. And I did manage getting a job successfully. It's a perfect to have a job that you can do next to your studies, and you basically choose how much you want to work. In Swedish, I'm not sure. You mean Swedish? I guess you mean, right? Because hey is exactly right in Swedish. Very similar to a lot of other languages also. Where are you from, Anita? So yeah, managed to get a job. I've been starting being more serious about my way of applying for jobs, how I structure my resume, how I also Sweden. All right. So you understand, but yeah, I see. I changed my strategy, how I apply. I'm more structured. I following up better, and I write everything down. Everything that I applied, I write down, which is good to keep track, basically. And this job, of course, it's without getting into the details, not necessary, but it's great to have a part-time. Basically, choose how much you want to work. So that's great. Yeah, I'm very, very, very happy with that. Actually, it's because since I started last year, about 1 year ago, I mean pretty exactly over 1 year ago, I did not work. So that's great. And I mean, it's so weird. I'm gonna start a live video always. I always get just sometime very, I don't know. I guess I just been kind of anxious recently, and I'm not normally not very anxious. But I have a lot of things in my mind. You're an introvert. You're thinking a lot of stuff, and then you're gonna express them. It's just difficult. What I want to talk about is a little bit what I shared in the other video that was not successful, was about the living. Are you also Swedish, or yeah, Anita, or where are you living? I thought about the life here. You know, this is so interesting. I read a lot about this. Hello, Sebastian. How are you doing, man? Where are you from? What I shared about before is the living costs. Even if you live in a and in a country with great economy and great socio-economical advantages or privileges. All right, you live in Sweden also. Where in Sweden? I am in the south. Um, there are it. It does not always matter if you're living in a country with these benefits. Of course, it's obviously going to be better in many ways compared to a developing country. Don't need to name any examples, but you know what I mean. But what I want to say is that if you're living in a country with great average salary, annual salary, let's say that you have like 3,000 or 3,500 euros a month, which would be great in comparison to Portugal, for example, where I lived before. The lifestyle, the costs of everything is also going to be more expensive, and that comes with it. You know, that is just normal. It's very normal that the rent is going to be higher. But that's also funny with countries like Portugal or similar. The rents are also expensive there, and it's not equal to where you are, what you are earning there, for example. But the thing is that to be able to buy something here, that's why so many Swedish, they have house, they have 2 cars, but they are all in very great debt, because the rent and the interest rates has been so low for a long time. So people have millions of crowns in debt. And I just don't know if it's worth. It feels like a scam. But this is the system, how we're living. You know, you have a down payment, you save up that, you put yourself in a great debt, and you believe that you have your house, but actually you don't own it. The bank owns your house. And what I want to say with that is that once you have paid it off, once you manage to pay it off, if you do in, let's say, 40 years, in 40 years you are debt free, for example, and then you want to sell it, okay? You have then property tax, I believe it's 20%. And then you need to buy something new with your, after you sold your house, for example. Okay, so you want to buy something equal. No, you can't. If you want to buy something equal, it will probably be much, you will have to take another debt, because the market has, and inflation has increased the property, the prices of the houses. So you need to, for example, buy something much smaller, maybe in a little apartment or something. Isn't it funny, you know, you've been, actually, when you bought the house for, let's say you bought the house for 100,000 euros. Once you paid it off, you paid off more than it was worth because of the interest rates. And then you also have to pay, if it's worth 200,000 after 40 years, you have to pay 20% property tax. And you want to buy something now with those, let's say 180,000 that you have. You cannot buy a house again with this, because everything is more expensive now. Because, you know, with time, real estate, properties, and everything is increasing in price. I'm just gonna do this little rant and I will move on from this topic, but you know, it's something that I think about a lot. Then you need to buy something smaller. But I mean, this is just the system we live in, and of course it works in a way. To some degree it works, because maybe you want to have a bigger house, and to be able to have a bigger house, you need to be in depth a little bit. To be able to, like, you raise a family or whatnot, you know. And then when you are older, you sell it, you can downgrade. Ska jag säga någonting på svenska? Okej. Jag heter Tom. Jag bor i södra Sverige för tillfället. That's something, det var något på svenska. That's something in Swedish. So what I'm thinking is that, why am I saying this now? Because life, whether you are in Sweden or America or a developing country, is not always necessarily better. Of course, if you have an amazing salary, but the taxes is always gonna get you. That's how it is. It's always going to get you. So vart i Sverige bor du? You don't need to say exactly where you're living, but I mean, are you Stockholm, or you're in the north, or so yeah. Now on to the next, but it still is related to what I've been thinking a lot about. I don't know if I want to live here. You know, after been living in Portugal, but I wanted this. I wanted to move to a small place, small town. But it's really like there's nothing going on here. It's just, all right, Stockholm. So, well, it's been a while since I was there. I need to go there actually. I have to visit my friend, and it would be nice just in general to go to Stockholm, because it is very nice in the summertime. I think winter is just so cold there. I mean, it's cold everywhere in Sweden, obviously, but I would prefer to go there, maybe now actually, but I'm not in a position where I can do that right now. But either way, you know, I am seriously thinking that, you know, the life I had in Portugal, it was great in so many ways, financially, perhaps not the way I was living, but that could be upgraded, obviously. But I'm really seriously thinking that to be able to, if you can have a great salary but live somewhere is more affordable, is actually the best. Although there are a lot of great things with Sweden, for sure, there is. It's one of the top countries in many aspects in the world, but it's also a lot of issues right now. Don't even get me started on going into politics. I'm moving away from it. Of course, I'm following a little bit on some news channels, some internet media, social media, whatever, you know. Obviously, it's hard to not do it. But I just don't want to get into this kind of arguments for this and that, and but there are so many hypocrites in politics. It's insane, and it's never good enough. But the thing about, you know, depth, getting into a deep depth, that is what we do in these countries. I mean, I'm not talking specifically of Sweden. I mean, just in general, of like the Western world is built on the idea of being in depth. That's really, really true. I sincerely believe that. But yeah, I mean, I have to obviously think step by step. I always getting back to this. Not comparing. Nobody should ever compare oneself to somebody else. It doesn't lead anywhere. It's not good to compare yourself where you are. Everybody essentially on their own journey. Everybody going towards the same place, basically, in the end. And I know that's what I believe everybody has to kind of do, and I work very hard with that, to accept wherever you are Of course, it's always not the most pleasant where you may be, but to understand that where you are is where you're supposed to be in a way. You know, we of course we can take ourselves out of difficult situations. If you are in a difficult situation, you can always work towards a better place. Just like I am, although I am in a place that I chose, that I wanted. I wanted, like, even 2 years ago, I was about to move to Sweden. Grattis så mycket! Stort grattis! Hoppas du har en trevlig födelsedag. Och att det är härligt väder och att you can go out and enjoy your day in Stockholm. Hopes you have people telling you congratulations and people caring for you. That's a beautiful thing. It's nice when people remember your birthday. It's always appreciated. So big congratulations to you, and I really wish you a great day. Yeah, we should not compare ourselves where we are. We are all going towards the same place in the end. And we should just really work on being what we are, you know. And that may sound a little bit, what's the word? It may sound a little bit not very specific. But what I mean with that is you should work what makes you happy and what makes you feel full as a human being, your way to be able to express yourself as what you are. You should do that, whether that is working in as an accountant, or you are helping people with their gardens, or you are a nurse, or you are writer, or you are, you know, these things. There's, when you ask somebody, what do you like to do, what would you wish to do, what are your dreams, people always have, most people will always have something that they would wish they would do, or they sometimes, which is kind of sad, they kind of regret what they did not do. And I am very determined on my journey, you know. Some may know that I am a musician, I write music, I'm a writer also. And those things for me is just some stuff that you feel like you have to do. It doesn't matter if, it's not about any end result, it's about what you have to do, basically. And that's what sometimes can be very difficult when you have a lot of other things you gotta do. But obviously you need to take your responsibility, like step by step. Like I chose to be here alone, move away from loved ones and friends, and be basically in solitude. Because loneliness is something else, you know. You can be lonely, and that is a difficult place to be. But solitude is a more of a place where you are focusing on things that you want to create, to understand and build yourself, to be basically that, what you are, you know. To do things that reflects who you are, if that makes sense. Yes, it makes sense. It definitely does. And yeah, I am excited for finally start creating more music. And like I mentioned, finally having a part-time job next to the studies, which is going to be great to have. But then once this is finished, once I'm done with this stuff, then is the question. It is difficult to get a job in Sweden, I sincerely believe that. But I have actually considering my new method or my new strategy when it comes to applying for jobs, it has proven successful, I have to say. I've had some interesting conversation with other potential job opportunity that did not suit me because yeah, I need to have something part-time. But yeah, obviously the full-time focus has to be completing these courses that's coming up now, and they are going to overlap each other, so that's going to be very much of a challenge for me. I am that's, you know, that's sometimes you just gotta do things even if it's going to be extremely really difficult. You just gotta pull through it. And I feel good because now it's been a long time I did not have any like obligations to go to, like, okay, you have to be here, you have to do this. Now it's been summer, been traveling. Now I'm back here since 2 weeks. Yesterday was actually 2 weeks. So I'm although this place, like, but I know I chose it. But it's different, you know, it's just very different from where I lived before when I lived in Portugal. It's just very different to come back to a place in Sweden and with Swedish that, I mean, I am Swedish, I know how we work. We are just sometimes very much difficult to get new contacts and stuff like that. We are very much in our small little bubbles, very, very individualistic. It's a very individualistic society. Like people growing up and they are sticking to their childhood friends. They find their partner and get married with their childhood friends or someone in their childhood circle, for example. It's very structured like that. There's nothing wrong with it, obviously. But I have always functioned very good with people from other places. And I think just because I've traveled and lived in other countries. Yeah, but it's weird. I didn't make a long live like this for some time. It's strange to just sit, you know, and talking. It's very helpful sometimes to have a chat like this. It's good. But it's also my channel. This is the way I do. I used to do more specific videos of topics. Now it has become more of a channel for me to just talk and ventilate stuff that's on my mind. But it worked good actually now, this live. It didn't disrupt anything so far. But I feel that I shared what I had to share, you know, with these lifestyle costs and how it is and what everybody needs to do to become what they want to create and what they want to do. Yeah, I really wonder how the society is going to, or the world in general with technology, how it's going to develop the coming years. It's changing very, very, very fast. It is changing so fast, and you question a little bit what you should get into, what should you focus on, what are you going to actually, what do you want to do, basically. That's something that I think so much about. I've done a lot of things. I have an idea what I feel comfortable working with. Yeah, that's what I mean. You have that inside of you. Everybody have that, what they would like to do and create. Most people have something like that, but sometimes being too afraid of working for it. Sometimes just being too considerate what other people are gonna think. What are people gonna think of that? I'm creating this or that, you know, it's whatever, you know. Like my video, you know, I can tell you that. Like for example, that other video that was didn't work for the technical reason. Just somebody came in and said something really bad, very mean in the chat. It happened before, obviously. I've seen it happen to many other people. And first you question like why? But then you let it go and you just say that I hope this person is gonna be better. I hope this person will be better, basically. Because like imagine me you're doing it live, or you're having something you created, or you have a video or whatever, and somebody just suddenly come in from nowhere and say something really mean to you. For me it's fine, you know. I can tell you that maybe I've talked about this in other videos. You can say the most mean thing to me that you possibly can say to anybody. You can hate me, you can be mean to me as much as you want, and that's all right. It's I couldn't care less. At first I will obviously question it, like who are you, what is this, like a normal human reaction. But after that I will, I guess, basically pray for you, just wish you would be better, and till the next time you will not do that to another person. Because I can take that. I've had people telling me everything that you can imagine. I mean, mean things, that you can absolutely imagine. And I just know that it's mostly says something more about you than to the person that you direct this, because it's a projection. And for whatever reason that person is saying something horrible to you, it comes from some place within themselves, and that they are not well. That's what I mean, that I just hope that this person gets better, and I guess pray for that person, or whatever you want to say, you know. And that's it, I guess. That's about that, you know. It's just some people, you know, I was gonna say that I have probably said some bad things also before, but not something like personal like that. I always trying to be very concrete, direct, why I see this perspective, like of somebody that I don't agree with, whether it's like on social media or. But normally I just don't bother to comment, because I don't know this person's full life story, but I can see. But I can say my opinion when it's somebody that I consider a hypocritic. That they just riding on the power wave, you know, that they, for example, some politician that is just want to point out the bad of somebody else all the time, but then they are exactly the same. That I think is a different story. That's a different situation. Those things that I can point out, but never to be personal about somebody or say something, what's the word, derogatory, just basically something mean. Personally, it just makes no sense to do that to somebody. I think that we should lead with love, basically. Lead with love and try to set an example for becoming just a better person in the world. And you know, this classic example that you treat somebody the way you would like to be treated yourself. So lead in love, and let let actually you just try to be of a benefit towards others to make life easier, because it's already hard as it is. And with those words, I think I'm gonna stop this. I'm gonna go around here, this neighborhood, and probably go back and sit in the sun a little bit in another place. Thank you for listening and watching, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.